It's been a good week. We got one more day here, full speed to prepare for this opponent. But, it's been good. Guys are locked in, and we're looking forward to it. This will be a great matchup on the road, their place, Sunday night. It's pretty exciting, so that's really it. Questions?
You said you would get Zadarius today. Is he around today, and what you expect him just on his first day?
He is. We'll have him out there. We'll get him moving around a little bit, and we're prepared to see what we can do and where we can go with it.
Popped up on the injury report yesterday. Is there any concern that could affect his game status?
Yeah, I don't see him practicing today. It's really about how he, heals up. I don't feel like this is something major, but we need to see really how he feels over the next 48 hours.
Plays obviously the lead package sort of deal, like small amount of reps. How much can he impact you guys defensively, just in whatever role he may or may not have?
Yeah, there again, I think it's, impact is really doing your job. How does it play into what everybody else is doing? And so I would say it can help. That's one of the reasons he's here.
And in that regard, you talked about him being a complete player the other day. Just defensively against the run the last couple of weeks, you've maybe had a couple of leaks that have been uncharacteristic for the last year and a half. Yeah. Any concerns there, and how much, long term can he, help you guys in that regard?
Yeah. Look, I would say most of those, when you look at it, what's really popped up is we're handling the run well, and all of a sudden we give up an explosive. One guy doesn't fit the gap right. We had that the other day. We had a couple of guys that were out of a gap, and it shut the other guy off, and now all of a sudden it hits. We have a couple that they're where they're supposed to be, but they're not shedding off the block. They're not getting off the block of the tight end or the tackle, and then all of a sudden it runs by them. And so those are the things where we got to be better. We can't allow these explosive runs like Houston. Mixon he'll expose you if you allow that to continue. So it's a point of emphasis. It's why we padded up yesterday. It's why we go through the technique work. And to answer the question, yeah, Zadarius can help there. And look, we're getting Pascal back too. That helps.
Chemistry issue, Dan. Just a lot of moving pieces up front right now with guys coming up off the practice squad, some new additions. Is that an all-11 thing when you're trying to stop the run that leads to those explosives?
Always. Because inevitably what happens, it's like this on any portion of your team, any area of the team, is it's one thing to not do your job, whatever the reason may be. That's one, but what happens is, man, if it happens a couple of times, then the other player who does do his job, he begins to try to do more for you. Right, when you shouldn't have to, and that's not the way it's not how you succeed. And so then he's doing what he shouldn't be, and now he's out of position, and it begins to trickle, and you lose trust. And so we can't have the trust crumblers. We got to eliminate that, but it does. Everybody's got a job to do. Do your job and do it violently. And we were talking yesterday about one of our players, and I said, do you think if you told him his life depended on getting in this gap and playing this gap, he would do it. He could do it. And you kind of have to think that way. You really kind of have to have that mentality.
You said you padded up yesterday. Is Thursday a hit or miss, no pun intended, depending on what's happened the week before in the game or depending on who the opponent is?
Sometimes that plays into it, but I think it's, the last 2 weeks on Wednesday, we backed off considerably, for recovery. And ordinarily, I don't love putting guys in pads on Thursday, but yet, man, you're getting the recovery. And then just to get there again, we did the first portion of practice. You're talking about 8 plays and a little one-on-one. I just think it gives you confidence. It forces you to play a little bit lower. Your hand, it's game-like. And just for a few shots. Now, you can't do that every week. But I feel like it was good for us last week. I feel like it's going to be good for us this week.
Hey, Dan, two more questions. Tampa Bay didn't go for a 2-pointer at the end of the game to win the game. You know that they had to go overtime and lost. Last night, Cincinnati goes for it, doesn't make it, and on the 2-point at the end of the game. Is that a coaching feel, statistics that say it's best to go for it?
Yeah, I think it's a feel thing. And I would never second guess what a coach on another team does in that situation, man. You got to go by what your gut tells you and how the game's playing out, what the opponent is, how are you playing. You know, I do. I think there's a ton of things that go into it. And look, there's no right or wrong answer. It really is a feel thing. And you can go in thinking one way, man, if it comes down to this is what I would do. And then all of a sudden that can very easily change once you get in a certain type of game. That plays into it as well. That plays into it.
I want to go back one more time to just the decision to give Za'Darius a few days off here. You know, I think you guys have kind of shown a tendency to put person over player in a lot of instances. You know, what is it about this decision? Why was it important to, you know, give him a little bit of a respite here before, you know, really getting thrown into the fire?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, I think for him in particular, I think each case is kind of unique, right? And his is unique in the fact, number one, he's a veteran player. You know, he's got a lot of miles on the body, and he can still do it. But it's also, you know, I think it's important for him to be able to get a little bit of a breather. That's one too. Is you just got traded. You know, it's a whirlwind, man. All of a sudden, man, I was here. We were getting ready for the team photo. I was going in to buy, and all of a sudden I drive up here to Detroit. And, by the way, there was a hurricane that hit down south where my house, you know, there's these things, and I think it creates some stress that you can alleviate. That's more important than we got to force the issue right now. And I would rather him be of sound body and mind for the rest of this long haul than I would trying to force the issue right now, you know.
Last two, John and Sean. Across the league, we've seen a lot of young quarterbacks struggle. I'm just curious from what you've seen on film from C.J. Stroud, a lot of had success in his growth this year compared to what he's shown this rookie year.
Yeah, he's impressive. Tell you what, you can tell he's smart. For a young quarterback, he's smart. He can key and diagnose. He's tough. He'll stand in the pocket, but yet he's got pocket awareness to where he can maneuver, and then, man, you let him get outside. And I think one of the things that he's done really a good job of, he did it last year, is when he begins to move, his eyes are downfield. Like, he feels the rush, but he doesn't see the rush. And so and that's what makes him so dangerous. And, I mean, I showed the team this morning a number of clips where, and he gets on the perimeter and he can see it, and he's making these throws. You give him just a tick of time in the pocket, and he's making them. And so he's dangerous in that regard, and you can never count him out. So, you know, they got one over there. I think he's going to be a good player in this league for a long time to come. And you know, we got to be ready, man. We're going to have to play tight coverage on these receivers. We got to shut down Mixon. I think he's the key. But this guy will hurt you.
I'm not sure how much you've had a chance to talk to Za'Darius, but what's your sense of who he is, his presence, personality, and how that will fit with the vibes?
Yeah, look, I really haven't had that much time to be around him. It was literally, we signed him, talked for a little bit, and then he just got back, you know, for today. So I haven't had that much time. I just know what I've seen and what I've heard from other people, and he does have an energy about him that mirrors up with his play style. So I just think in that regard, you know, a guy that, look, if you play defense and you've had the production he has, then all right, you know the type of football player. We've played against him, you know, Minnesota, Green Bay. So you know what that is, but he's tough, he's violent. And, you know, he's got a motor. And then we're not even talking about potentially, you know, outside or inside, getting an edge and pass rush and just helping, whether that's straight rush or running the games. So, you know, I just think he's going to be a perfect fit for us.
Dan, just a lighthearted one. You know, since your time here, you've been subject to, you know, jokes and memes. You know, AG brought up yesterday, if he got a chance to see the viral clip of him going around.
Oh, the glasses? Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, at one point, I don't know, we were in the heat of battle there, and I just remember, you know, I said something. Hey, AG, we got to be ready for this, and wipe your glasses off. He's like, I got you. Yeah, that was pretty good, man. You know, like he didn't need eyes to coach. All right. All right. We have not. We have not.